furnace, Mr. Sturges, like a furnace. Work's still falling behind.
Well, how many men have we got on overtime?
No more than half a dozen.
Well, that's no good to me, you know. What's the matter with them?
I'd like to get back home while it's still a bit light.
Well, we just have to put some extra men on the regular 6 to 4 shift, that's all.
If we can get them.
What do you mean? The town's full of new faces.
Well, they don't come here. Mr. Bailey snaps them up to help build his roads.
Well, how's that? He doesn't pay better wages, does he?
No, sir, but they're out in the fresh air.
Oh, we just have to roll up our sleeves and get to work ourselves, eh, Sam? This order book's worth over $100,000. Now, I'm not afraid of a bit of sweat, are you?
No, sir.
Henry the First, 1100 to 1135. Stephen and Matilda, 1135 to... No, start again. William the Conqueror, long did reign. William his son by an arrow was slain.
Do you enjoy history, Clement? I didn't like it much either. Say, that's a nice school box you got there?
My father made it for me. He used to make lots of things.
You must miss him very much. You don't have a compass set, do you?
What's that?
Set squares, compasses and stuff? I'll get you one.
You won't make it, though. You'll just get it out of your old store.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mother Sturges.
Look at the back. That's how you can tell good diamonds by the setting.
Oh, I never saw anything so pretty. Look at that, John.
Yep. Real sparkly.
No, James has always been a good son to me. Oh, not that Harrison wasn't too, but the poor man never had the opportunity to show it.
No, I suppose not. Though I'm sure that Harrison would have been pleased with the way the Tannery's come along.
Oh, yes, but he'd have been afraid as well. Harrison was never one for taking risks.
No, that's true.
It was the same when they were little. The first time I took them to Toronto, James looked up at the Dominion Bank and he said, "Mother, if I put all my pocket money in there, will they pay me interest?" And Harrison just made a face and said that building could burn down. Mine's staying in the piggy bank.
Mother! Uncle James is here in a new sleigh.
Good morning, Clement.
Look, Uncle James is here in a new sleigh. We all know that. We'll all have to be careful what we wear. My new sea green won't go with it at all. It doesn't go with anything. It's awful. Oh, who cares what you think? Boys don't know about things like that.
Clement, I hear you're helping out at the store.
Yes, a bit, after school. Father says he's making himself quite useful.
Now, children, behave yourselves.
Oh, good morning, James. How are you?
Hello, James. It's
Well,
nice
Clara.
to see you.
Hey, what do you think of the Koh-i-Noor?
Oh, it's quite lovely.
Straight from New York.
Well,
By the way, I've got a little surprise in store for you.
diamonds, James?
I'm not telling. Well, no, it's not jewelry. I always think it's more fitting for a lady's husband to give her those, don't you?
John, well, that would be a surprise.
But not an impossibility if things keep going the way they are.
Yes, the last time I was in the store, I hardly knew the place.
Yes, he's improved his stock.
Old Ambrose Bailey keeps taking on more workmen. John's a very lucky man. All he has to do is sit back and take the pay out of the pockets.
That's enough.
Stop it! Clement, stop! Father! Make him stop! Stop it, Clement! Clement! Oh, it's getting me!
Stop it, Clement! Clement, you do as you're told. Stop it. Just a minute. Leave her alone. What's the matter with you? All right, well, come on. Let's have a give and take, shall we? We'll keep warm. Come on, see if you can catch me. Come on.
Sorry. I wish you wouldn't call Mr. Trevelyan father. Oh, you're so silly. That's what Mr. Trevelyan is. Come on.
Awful heavy looking.
It's double case to keep the dust out.
Oh, I don't know. Looks tinny to me. Got any more?
Yes, but I'd have to go back up the ladder to fetch them.
That cost more?
Ingersoll.
Make sure it's one I can jam a picture inside. And how is Mrs. Trevelyan?
He's fine.
And old Edgar? Any news?
Not much of a one for writing letters. We get the odd field postcard now and then.
Enjoying himself, is he?
Enjoying himself at the war.
From what I hear, sounds more like a hunting party.
There have been heavy casualties.
Edgar Sturges knows better than to be one of them. Damned if I can see why we're mixed up in that war anyhow. The Boers are farmers like me. What are we doing kicking them off their land? Shouldn't be there at all.
We're part of the empire, Harvey.
You believe that stuff? I'm surprised you're not there yourself.
I would be if they'd take me.
Of course, you're all right. Your father's sick and you only be married a year. And new family coming up, John.
This one doesn't have space to jam a picture inside. Father, will you tend to Mr. Burks?
Harvey, John, got any money? Oh, forget it.
That's the stuff. Can't have people running down the troops.
No. What can I get you?
I need some dubbin for my boots. I'd also like a bit of information. We just arrived. Fresh off the boat, as you might put it.
What brought you here in particular?
Heard it was a growing town where a hard-working lad might do himself a bit of good. Only trouble is, don't know where to start.
Plenty of work here?
Oh, but I don't want just any old job now, do I? Fella's got to think about his future.
6.
No dead ends for Willie Sutcliff.
Well, Mr. Sutcliff, if I can give you any advice...
You must know all the ins and outs. A man in your position.
If I were you, I'd try the Bailey Construction Company down at Claremont.
No, sir. Sorry. You've not understood what I've been saying. I'm thinking a few years ahead, you see. Seasonal work, casual labor, isn't what I've got in mind at all. Now, something where there are prospects.
Yes, yes. Excuse me. Morning, Tom.
My Maggie's got the dizzy spells again.
Has Dr. Oliver seen her?
She'll be all right. She wants some more of these iron pills.
Dr. Fothergill's. They do her any good?
I think so. She never did have good blood.
Here we are. 5 cents. You know, don't look too well yourself.
Foreman said I could have the morning off.
Could use a week by the look of you.
That wouldn't do, Mr. Trevelyan. Tannery couldn't get along without me. We're 2 men short on my shift.
Tom, talk to Mr. Sturges if you like.
I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Where's that? He said he worked.
Sturges Tannery.
And do I understand that you know Mr. Sturges personally?
Yes. We're acquainted.
Good. You'll be able to give me a personal recommendation. Willie Sutcliff. Will you write it out?
No.
You heard him. They're short of men.
You ever seen the inside of a tannery?
Can't be so very different from mill.
You won't like it.
Oh, I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty, if that's what you think. And I'm as healthy as a rabbit.
Yes, well, you want to stay that way, don't you? If I were you, I'd try the construction company at Bailey's. Could use a healthy young rabbit.
What you ought to be considering for young Jane is a domestic science course. Send her off to Montreal or somewhere.
But she's only 12.
She can polish up her French at the same time. Nothing suits a woman better than a bit of French. Emily's quite fluent.
Oh, rather out of practice, I'm afraid.
And needlework.
No, she's quite good at that already. She embroidered a pair of slippers for John with his initials. They were splendid, weren't they?
With sprigs of rosemary for remembrance. A work of art.
Did you see them, Mother Sturges?
Pardon?
What's the matter, Mother? You've hardly said a word.
Pineapple doesn't agree with me.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't have taken it then.
It's more digestible from cans.
Did I tell you that we'd heard from Edgar? He's hoping to spend his next leave in Cape Town, and he's going to send us some Zulu beadwork and ostrich feathers, though heaven knows what we'll do with them.
I suppose he didn't mention any more serious plans for his future, did he?
How can he? He doesn't know when he's going to be demobilized.
Not demobilized, Mother, repatriated.
Don't tell me what I mean.
He won't be demobilized until he leaves the army.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You wait and see. As soon as this war's finished, he'll be out. I know him better than any of you, and that's what's going to happen.
Very interesting, Mother. Now, perhaps you could tell us what Edgar plans to do with the rest of his life.
Perhaps you'd like to give him a job, James?
I would not. Nor would you. Neither of us, I'm sure, would like to see our work disrupted by Edgar.
Really, James? Edgar might want to work for himself. Who knows?
Of course. He's very independent.
And what form precisely is this independence going to take? That's what I'd like to know.
If he's responsible enough to fight for Queen and country, then he can make up his own mind about that without any help from you. Edgar wants out of life what everybody else wants. He'll want to settle down, have a family.
Edgar? I thought he was only interested in servant girls.
I don't think it's fair to talk about Sheila in that way, James.
We're very happy with her. She's a great help to Clara.
Pas de vente domestique?
What did you say?
Thank you, Adams. We'll have coffee in the drawing room.
Adams. Elegant.
Yes, we have two of them in our position. One has to keep a proper staff.
We'll have to tell Sheila to work twice as hard.
I wasn't sure at first. It seemed like rather an extravagance. I see no point at all in spending money just for the sake of it.
I'm sorry you think I'm wasting my time. Perhaps I shouldn't work so hard. Well, since no one seems to appreciate my efforts.
Sit down and don't be childish.
Really, Mother, I'm just fetching something from the sideboard.
It was a most delicious dinner, Emily. Didn't you think so, Mother Sturges?
Too much cream and everything.
Well, the turtle soup was just excellent.
Where'd you catch the turtle, Emily?
I'm afraid it was only mock.
Oh, I thought you were out in the swamp with a lantern. Could have caught a few fat frogs as well. Gastronome's delight.
I was going to make a little ceremony of this, but since nobody seems to be quite in the mood.
What is it, James?
Well, you might call it a timely reminder of the extent to which my hard work benefits each one of you. Now, since Harrison died, I've had a great deal on my shoulders. Oh, I'm not complaining. I just like a little recognition of the fact that in the end, you all depend on me.
Now, that's not true, James. We have a store. We can support ourselves.
But when things go wrong there, who will you come running to? You may not like to face the truth, Clara, but John does.
What do you mean by that?
I thought that was really considerate what you did this morning. Well, I wish I had $1 for every time you've criticized the tannery, making out I don't take care of my workmen and so forth. So I'm glad that John, for all his principles, has been doing a bit of recruiting on our behalf. That was a fine young man you sent me, John.
I don't know what you're talking about. I sent no one.
They said he had your personal recommendation. Young Englishman by the name of Sutcliff.
Not true. If you want to know, I did everything I could to put him off.
Oh?
He asked what work there was in town. I told him if he had any sense, he'd sign on with Ambrose Bailey.
I see. And why would you want to say a thing like that? He's a fine, strong fellow, just the kind we need.
Exactly. You should stay that way. Not walk around half dead like Tom Durant and the rest of the men that work for you.
Well, at least we know where your loyalties lie, John. So you won't want any truck with this anyway. It's not yours, it's for Clara.
Oh, what is it?
It's your first dividend from the Sturges Tannery.
Oh. Oh, John, look at this.
Yes. Looks quite clean, considering where it came from.
You should have done that last night.
Now, this is interesting. They're running a children's corner every Saturday. Contributions invited in prose and verse. What about that, young Jane?
I don't think I have anything quite suitable.
Nonsense. What about your sonnet to a snowflake? I thought that was fine.
Thank you, Father. But that wasn't meant to be a children's poem.
Oh, even Emily Dickinson had to start somewhere. How about you, Clement?
Me?
Mr. Ennis told me you wrote a very good essay. What was it called again?
A day in the life of a silver dollar.
It's a coincidence. I had to write one of those myself when I was in school. Why don't we send yours to the paper, eh?
One literary person in a family's enough, surely.
7:30, off you go.
Me too?
As you know, we have something to discuss.
I suppose I should be grateful that you're speaking to me again.
Last night I was too upset to talk.
Clara, come and sit by me, would you? If you want me to say I'm sorry for breaking up a dinner party, that's all right. Well, I can't apologize for holding the views I do. Would you want me to? It would be dishonest.
Honesty isn't always the most comfortable thing to live with.
Yes, but you don't want to go through life pretending not to notice anything like James and Emily.
There was a good deal of truth in what James had to say last night.
On what particular subject?
Well, he does work hard, and we do take him for granted. Now, I know you think he's insensitive, but I'm sure it upsets him when you don't take him seriously.
Not true. I take him very seriously. He annoys me, that's all.
Well, he annoys Lizzie, too, but she has the sense to keep quiet about it.
Lizzie just is a shrewd old woman. She just pins on a brooch. She doesn't care who paid for it.
James paid honest money for Lizzie's brooch, and that's good enough for me.
A lot of other people paid. Tom Durant breathing in those fumes 10 hours a day, his wife making herself sick looking after him, and that Englishman who's fool enough to lie his way into a job. They paid for Lizzie's brooch, and that's where that check of yours came from.
But, John,
That money represents a month's wages for those men.
Well, that's not the way I look at it at all. Do you know what that check means to me? It means new winter outfits for the children. So no matter what you say, I'm going straight out and put it in the bank.
Would you like these, Mr. Sturges? Chrome samples for the boot factory.
Oh, yes, our next government order, if we're lucky. Put them on the floor over there, Willie. You're a fine, strong fellow, Willie. Wish I had a few more like you.
Thank you, Mr. Sturges.
Pity you're such a liar, though.
Me, sir?
When you first came here, you said you were personally recommended by Mr. Trevelyan at the general store.
I didn't know then that he was a relative of yours. Otherwise, I might not have taken such a chance. Still, turned out all right, didn't it?
That's no excuse, Willie.
No, sir.
I got them hides open, half of them too dry to be used. They're bunched like that, we'll be in the fertilizer business.
Well, you better dump them. Well, withhold payment. What's the name of the supplier?
McNaughton in Calgary. Oh, you told me to remind you about those walk planks around the back.
What about them?
Well, most of them are rotten in some places and pretty slippery. You said you were going to get some new ones.
Oh, yes, I clean forgot. I got so much in my mind lately.
I'll get back to work, sir.
No, wait a minute, Willie. I want to speak words with you. How are you getting on, Willie? Any difficulties?
No, sir. Everything's fine.
Found a place to live yet?
Room at an Irishwoman's in Oak Street. It's clean, I'll say that.
Well, maybe in a month or two you'll be able to find something better.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, even though you're one of their best workmen, I can't raise your wages yet. The others would object.
I don't want to cause any trouble, sir.
Still, I can show my appreciation in some other way. Why don't you come around to my house this evening?
Oh, I'd be glad to, sir. Where is it?
On Albert Street. Ask anyone where the Sturges house is. The servants' entrance round the side.
Well, I'm much obliged, sir.
I have a pair of boots I can't seem to get along with. They're hardly worn. I'll have one of the maids give them to you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sturges. That's really good of you. Can I say what a pleasure it is to be working at Tannery? It's a fine business you've got here.
Yes, we'll be the biggest in Ontario one day if things keep going the way they are.
And one day you'll be able to sit back and let the younger generation carry on.
Well, I'm hoping my young nephew will eventually take over. Good luck with the boots. Sturges leather.
Yes, sir.
Don't misunderstand me, dear. I do sympathize with John. Anyone who married you would have been in the same difficulty.
I don't know what you mean, Mother Sturges.
Oh, well, firstly, taking the place of such a fine man as Harrison, and then finding himself attached to such a lively go-ahead family.
John doesn't feel particularly attached.
Well, like it or not, though, we're all part of one another.
Are we?
Through Jane and Clement, if nothing else. I'm their grandmother, he's their stepfather. I'm not sure what kin that makes us, but it clearly means that we're all must stand together, doesn't it?
Stand together against what?
Oh, well, my dear, anything that threatens our peace of mind.
Or our pockets, as John would say.
You know I wouldn't sleep a wink if I thought you were married to a liberal.
What do you want? This is the Sturges house, isn't it?
People do call it that.
Do you mind if I come in? Oh, bright brass monkey weather out there.
That's an expression I haven't heard for years.
Where are you from?
Short boat trip from where you are, I'd say. I'm just outside of Dublin.
Liverpool.
Well, didn't anybody tell you it was cold in Canada? Come along and warm yourself. Would you like a mug of tea?
Oh. Oh. Well, he told me to come and ask the maid. Never thought to mention she was such a looker.
Oh, no, he wouldn't. He's not the type at all. Ask the maid what, anyway?
About the boots.
Oh? Now, what boots was he talking about, I wonder?
Almost new. Hurt his feet.
Mr. Trevelyan never said nothing to me.
Mr. Trevelyan? I thought you said this was the Sturges house.
Oh, I used to be before Mrs. Sturges married Mr. Trevelyan. You're in the wrong house.
Maybe wrong house for boots.
Oh, no. You're looking for Mr. James Sturges' place. I can tell you how.
It's no great hurry.
Sheila, I'm leaving now. Have you found those preserves I asked you?
I'll fetch them directly, Mrs.
And who are you?
Willie Sutcliff, ma'am. I work up at Tannery.
Do you?
Don't know my way around very well.
Really?
All the houses look very much the same to me.
But you've noticed that some of them have better-looking servants. Well, young man, you'd better try your luck somewhere else. Miss Dooley is not interested in followers.
No, ma'am. Of course not. And pardon the intrusion. I'll be off.
The Black Cherry, I think it was, you said.
Not a bad-looking fellow. Not trustworthy, I can always tell.
Yes, Mrs. Sturges.
Something about the ears. People always say you can tell a person's character by the eyes. That's not true, Sheila. Some of the biggest scoundrels I ever met had eyes as innocent as kittens. It's their stock in trade, you see. But they can't disguise their ears. I'll take 3 jars. Or short, stubby fingers.
What are you doing here? Mother likes me to do the shopping on Saturdays. It's good practice for when I have my own household. Now, we need some beeswax and black leading. You can't just come in and take things. You'll mix everything up. It has to be put down on the slate. I know that's silly. Why can't you do it? He doesn't like me to. Clement, why can't you call him Father like I do? He's not, that's why. You don't have to keep reminding him. And Father's easy to say, isn't it? Easier than Mr. Trevelyan. It isn't easier than Sir.
Oh, good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Mrs. Robertson.
Yes, madam. What can I do for you?
We need some beeswax.
Mm-hmm.
Black leading.
Black leading.
2 pounds of candles.
I take it you'll want the very best quality of candles?
Naturally.
Naturally.
A jar of cooking salt.
Cooking salt.
And 1 pound of Fuller's Earth.
Will that be for internal or external use, madam?
I beg your pardon?
Some of my customers use it on their faces, madam.
This is for cleaning rugs. Now, will you be good enough to put all these on credit?
Yes, of course. A pleasure.
What's this?
Bullseyes, madam. I keep them for my very best customers. What are you doing that for?
You told me to.
You're sweeping dust all over everything, Clement. What's the matter? Look, I don't think you're doing much good around here, do you?
I'll go home.
No, you won't. If Jane can make herself useful, so can you.
But you said...
If you don't want to work here with me, you can take this package to your Uncle James. I dare say he'll be at the Tannery. He isn't one to take Saturday off.
I don't want to.
Clement, we all have to do things we don't want to. Now run along.
Or asphyxiated. Lucky it was only sludge he fell into.
It's not that serious, then?
Yes, I'm afraid it is. Take a look at that hand. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lacerated tendon.
Well, will he be off work for long?
Oh, hurt something terrible.
You come and see me. I'll put on a splint. Good day, James.
Oh, thanks for coming, Eric. Sutcliff, I'm sorry about this.
I suppose I should be thankful. Still got my eyesight. Still, how are you going to manage, though, without me?
Well, it's not going to be easy. You're one of the best workers I've got.
Oh, I'll be long, Mr. Sturges. A couple of weeks, and I'll be right. Oh!
No, the doctor says you're not to move them for a while.
Well, how am I going to earn a living?
Well, don't worry. I'll make some arrangements.
Supposing I'm like this for life?
Oh, pull yourself together, Sutcliff. It's only a sprain.
Look at it! There I was, on my face in the vat. I struggled to my feet, eyes burning, nose full of filth, me lungs ready to burst. And as for this, doctor says, no hope.
Serves you right for telling James I sent you there.
Well, it beats me how you can be related to the likes of Mr. Sturges.
Well, not a very close connection. Now, let's think what we can do. You still staying at...
Mrs. Rafferty? Oh, she'll kick me out if I can't pay the rent.
Yeah. In my house, there's a small room. It's like a closet, really. I don't suppose there'd be any...
Oh, Mr. Trevelyan, that'd be...
Just until you get back on your feet again.
I'll help about the place. You won't even know I'm there.
I must admit, I don't have unbounded faith in Dr. Oliver, either. I think you should get a second opinion. There are better doctors in the city.
Oh, thank you, sir. I've been telling everyone what a good man you are.
You can pay me back sometime.
Are you still here?
He had an accident.
Oh, I've heard all about that.
What a pleasure it is to see you again, Mrs. Sturges. Governor, can't stop now. I've got to catch the train.
Did I see you give him money?
Mother, if it was to make him go away, I suppose we ought to be
grateful. Him go away. That wouldn't be any solution to the problem.
Problem?
The whole question of how you treat your workmen. Doesn't it mean anything to you? Because you couldn't be bothered to repair a rotten board, a man could be crippled for life.
Crippled for life? Now, you'd believe anything as long as...
Dr. Oliver said...
Oliver's a fool.
I can't disagree with you. That's why I sent him to...
giving money to a man like that...
I sent him to Toronto, that's all. I thought he should see another doctor.
If Mr. Sturges doesn't fix those railings, some poor devil's going to fall onto something worse than Tannery sludge, I can tell you. You might say I'm lucky to have nothing worse than a crippled hand. Those chemicals, sir, can take the hair off a steer's hide. There's got to be precautions.
But what do you expect the mail to do about it, Mr. Sutcliff?
Expose the man.
To get the tannery shut down? How many men would that put out of work? Besides, you said they were working on army contracts. we don't want to do anything that might impede the war effort. You might remember some of our boys out there have suffered worse catastrophes than a crooked finger.
So you're not interested, then?
Well, frankly, I doubt that the story has enough importance to bother.
Oh, I can imagine what's important to you. Funerals, christenings, bloody flower shows.
The subject's important. But we do have, shall I say, some rather more striking examples, Mr. Sutcliffe. Last week, a fire in a sweatshop down in Adelaide. No fire escapes in the main workroom. 3 women dead. And perhaps you've heard about the match factory? Half the girls are sick with phosphorus poisoning. It affects their teeth, you know, and presently the whole jawbone rots away.
I see.
Quite young girls, some of them.
All right, well, I'll let you get on with it then. Could I have your card, just in case?
Oh, certainly. In case of what?
Someone might get really hurt.
I hope you don't intend to keep us long, Trevelyan.
John thought you ought to hear what the man has to say.
I already have. His attitude's quite unreasonable.
Not trustworthy, I can tell.
I don't know why you all think he's out to cheat you. He's been injured.
Entirely through his own stupid fault. Still, we don't want to get involved in endless trouble over it.
The boards were rotten.
We'll do whatever's right, and that's an end to it. Should never have taken on the wretched man.
There's a person to see you, sir. That's all right, Sheila. Send him in.
Sutcliffe, I asked you here so that you could put your case fairly and squarely to Mr. Sturges.
Before we get to that, let me say something. I don't like to feel that I've committed an injustice on any of my work people. Nor, I'm sure, does my sister-in-law, Mrs. Trevelyan, who also has an interest in the tannery.
How's the hand? Is it any better? What did the doctor say?
What doctor did you see?
Dr. Wilson, ma'am.
Did he give you a certificate?
I'll tell you the truth, Mr. Sturges. I didn't see no doctor.
Why was that? You mean he didn't go?
Oh, no, I went to Toronto, sir, and walked about a bit, thinking like, and went into a bar, just to steady myself. A young fella got talking to me, asking about my hand and so on. Well, it turned out he was a reporter for the Mail and Empire. He's a nice young fella. Name of, Mackenzie King.
Don't believe a word of this.
Wait a minute.
Do you know the name?
He's been writing a series of articles on industrial conditions.
And you just happened to meet him in a bar. Well, what's this little muckraker got to say for himself? I suppose he advised you to see a doctor.
Oh, yes, sir, he did. But when he explained to me how serious it all was and how you might be fined $500 and probably shut down, well, remembering all your kindnesses to me in the past.
You decided to come back here?
Yes, ma'am. The only trouble is, I've got no place to stay.
That woman did throw you out then?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's most unfortunate, but these things do happen. Now, I'd like to suggest to you that you look for work in some other town, somewhere where there are better opportunities. I'm prepared up to a point to help with your expenses.
I like it here, sir.
But you've got no job. You've no lodging.
I did have one offer of assistance.
I said he could come and stay with us. You know, Clara, that extra room that's never used?
I never heard anything so unacceptable.
John, do you mean to say while I was involved in a dispute...
I made the offer, James, and I'm prepared to stick to it. It's not that serious, giving a man a roof for a while. Isn't that what they call Christian charity?
It's very good of you, Mr. Trevelyan.
Clara, did you know about this?
No, she didn't.
Have you forgotten this is Clara's house?
John, I'm glad you made the offer. Well, Mr. Sutcliffe, we'll see what we can do. It may not be too comfortable.
Oh, that's quite all right. I don't want to cause any trouble.
Does Clara know what she's doing? That man's a viper.
Why didn't you let me handle him?
I don't know why you're making such a fuss.
He's threatening to have me prosecuted, the tannery closed down, and I don't know what else. And you... Oh, what's the use? What else can one expect?
Uncle Edgar's writing is awfully difficult. Soldiers are only allowed one sheet, so he has to make it small. When's he coming back? It doesn't say. He's going to send me an elephant's hair bracelet for my birthday. Why that? It's supposed to be good luck. Did he shoot the elephant? Clement, that would be wasting ammunition. Boers, then? Has he shot any boers yet? Hundreds, I should think. He's been mentioned in dispatches. What does that mean? They've written to Queen Victoria to tell her how brave he's been. Will he get a medal? Shouldn't be surprised. I wish he was here. Don't you? Yes, it would be nice, but we're all right.
No, we're not.
You can't go on thinking
I will, forever.
That's being childish.
And you're being horrible. I saw your poem book.
You said
James Sturges Trevelyan written on the cover. How would Father feel if he came back and saw that?
Father isn't coming back.
You're a passable cook. I'll say that. One day I'll teach you to make black pudding.
Haven't you finished yet? I need the plate.
I've got to keep my strength up.
For what, I'd like to know. All you ever do is hang about and breathe our air.
I've offered to do jobs about that place. Mr. Trevelyan won't let me.
You never tried too hard to change his mind, did you? Oh, I'd like to chop some wood, Mr. Trevelyan, but it's me hand, you see.
It's getting stronger.
Too bad, eh? You got no excuse to stay.
I don't think they're going to turn me out.
Beats me why they got you here at all. Mr. Trevelyan is a soft-hearted man, but even he's going to get fed up. Willie Sutcliff, what kind of a beast are you?
I've got to give it a bit of practice.
You go exercise it somewhere else.
You're a fine woman, Sheila.
Ah, thank you.
You know, first night I came here, I'd mistaken the house, you know. I'd seen you on the street. Wanted a chance to talk to you.
Is that a fact? I thought you were scrounging after a pair of boots.
And the more I see of you, the more I like what I see.
I'm not listening to this talk.
Why not? Don't you believe me?
Why would anyone believe you when you're the biggest liar that ever walked the earth?
Don't you turn against me, Sheila. You and me have got a lot in common.
No, have we now? And that is Miss Dooley, if you don't mind.
You came to Canada to get away from something, same as me.
I did not. Why is it that your sort is always looking back?
Well, why did you come here then?
Because I wanted to see what kind of person I could turn into if I was given a decent opportunity. I won't always be a servant.
That's true. Too much spirit.
One day I'm going to get myself a husband, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a worker like me. And not the hard done by scrounging kind like you.
Scrounger, is it? Just because I stood up for me rights?
Rights, you call it. Try to squeeze money out of honest people.
Oh, you're on their side, are you?
Why wouldn't I be? They've been decent to me. They treated me like family.
Family? How can you be so stupid? All they want from you
Get out of here, will you?
is scrubbing the bloody floors for them the rest of your bloody life. If that's what you bloody well want,
get out!
I just think you ought to try, that's all.
You can't make yourself like someone just by trying. I don't know why Mother married.
Because she didn't want to be alone. It's understandable, especially now with Uncle Edgar at the war.
Yes, I see that. But why him? It's not as if he can build wigwams or run races like Uncle Edgar can.
No, but he's very kind and dependable, and Mother thinks that's more important. It's not his fault.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's all right. We finished what we had to say.
You can come in if you want. Do they have places like this where you come from?
Sheds? Oh, aye. They're full of coal.
That must be rather dirty.
We don't complain. A family that's got coal is going to keep warm all winter. We always had our share. Me dad was in pit. A miner.
You mean he went right down into the earth?
Aye, for 50 years.
Didn't he get all black with dust?
I read that you can never get it off. It stays under your skin, all streaky.
The blue scars.
She always thinks everyone else is dirty.
If you don't clean yourself properly, you get all sorts of diseases and bugs and things.
Some people can't keep clean, however hard they try. When I was your age, there were 6 of us sleeping in one room.
That doesn't sound hygienic.
No, it wasn't. My sisters didn't have pretty little button boots like yours either, young lady. They were wooden clogs that rubbed the skin off because they didn't have no stockings.
Why didn't they?
They had no money to buy them with, little sweetheart.
You do ask silly questions.
Why couldn't they have run errands or taken...
Run errands? Before it was light, the man from the mill came banging at the door. They worked in that mill 10 hours of it till their fingers bled. Oh, they weren't like that at all. They were stubby little fingers with broken nails from pulling at the yarn. And when it was bitter cold, they were cracked and raw with chilblains like bits of meat. And when the itching was too much to stand, me mum took bits of rag, soaked them in the chamber pot, and bound them round.
I don't want
so
to.
tight you couldn't...
It's horrible.
I'm sorry.
Let go.
No, I'm sorry.
It's horrible. No, get away,
John, you can't keep the fella there forever eating out of house and home. I know you made a promise.
James, the man's no good. We both know that. He'll take everything we have to give him without a word of thanks, and the moment we look like stopping, he'll be off to Toronto to tell that friend of his, and he'll write a pack of lies about it. I realize that. But if he was a stray dog, I wouldn't put him out while he was sick. No. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Trevelyan, but the missus says, can you come quickly?
What is it?
Yeah, she just said to come quickly.
Oh, all right, just a minute. Father!
Don't cry. You're all right now, Jane.
What exactly happened?
Well, he was with the children, and he must have frightened them. Jane came running out of the
Jane should
woodshed,
tell
and
me. Come on, Jane, it's all right.
Well, he kept saying horrible things, and then he took my hand.
No, it's not true. It's God's my judge. Not like that.
That's the Dr. McPherson from Toronto.
Will you take your jacket off, please?
Don't push it about like that. It bloody hurts. I said, don't. Phew.
It's not fair. They're hurting him. He didn't do anything.
Well?
It's as I suspected. A simple contraction of the tendon.
Doesn't know what he's talking about.
Is there some place I can wash my hands,
Well, I'll
please?
get you a
I want a
towel.
proper doctor.
What did you say it was?
It's an acute case of flim-flamitis, madam. There's nothing wrong with that hand at all.
You're broken it. You stupid quack.
But you said...
Out of the way.
You're a cheat.
I get my things.
I'm ready. Guess who isn't? Has anybody seen my poem book?
You don't want to say bad things to school, do you?
Yes, I do. Mr. Innes asked me specially.
Mr. Innes wants to read your poems?
He wants me to read them out loud to the schools inspector.
That's very good, Jane. I'm proud of you. I'm off. Is there anything I can get you from the store?
I don't think so. Jane?
Yes, Mother?
Could you drop these sheets off at your grandmother's on the way to school?
Yes, Mother.
Thank you. I'll leave them at the banister here.
Clara, what are you doing?
I'm sorting linen. It's time everything was kept in one place.
Too bad we don't have a linen closet.
Oh, but we do, John. The tiny room next to Sheila's.
Oh?
So you won't be able to bring home any more lame ducks.
What's the schools inspector for?
See that you've done your lessons properly.
Will he ask us questions?
Yes, and terribly hard ones. If you don't answer them properly, he'll beat you.
If he does, will you punch him in the jaw?
Certainly not.
Princess to say thank you.
Oh, fine. After school now. Don't want to be late. Remember, the inspector's coming today.
Immediately! Stop it, I say! Disgraceful! Whatever will the inspector think? I do apologize, sir. They're not usually as undisciplined as this.
Well, they're not in school yet, you know. Now then, let's get acquainted, shall we? What's your name, young fella?
My name is Henry Plackett, and I'm 12 years old. My father works at Bailey's Construction Company.
Very good, Henry. And now, Violet, tell the inspector.
I'm Violet Sturges, and this is my sister Moo. Our father is Mr. James Sturges of the Tannery.
What's your name?
I'm Clement Sturges, sir. And my father...
Yes?
My father owns the general store.
Well, now, off to school now. Off to school.
Oh. You all right?
If you don't think I've got a great big hug coming, after all I've been through for you.
Gave you a raise, did he? A promotion. I jumped out of smelly old rubber boots into a soft woolly suit. Up to the sales department to show them how to do it right.
What are you selling? Snake oil?
I didn't handle things as grandly as I should have. A corporal below me got one of the Queen's hero scarves. Don't tell Clemmy.
Oh, Edgar, you don't have to report to me. I'm not your ma.
No. I'd wish you'd be my wife.
To the lovely ladies.
To our handsome men. And to much more dancing. I can't get enough.
And you're pretty. Frost does something to your face.
Freezes it.
As I return to yesterday, I see soft, downy summer times for me to cling to.
Coming up next, keep the lights on and spend some time with the master of the macabre. Take a trip into the realm of mystery and suspense on Alfred Hitchcock Presents, next, only on Showcase. Viewer discretion is advised.
As I've known them, still I would have all that I would need. Come tell of days so fine and oh so fair,